with this. Okay, if anyone wants to speak while I mess around with this, you can let me know. So it's what's going on, what sort of how we feel about the Olympics. Do we feel it made any difference whatsoever? That would be interesting. I'm trying to share the space. I don't think Twitter's going to like this very much. Ali Snyder, do your worst. Help me out.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Well, you've been on the phone with solicitors, and I've been battling with a library here in Oklahoma.
Nice.
I'm getting a weird reverb.
Hang on.
Does everybody else hear that?
That's me. Hang on. I wonder if I'm going to have to...
Shocked.
No, hang on.
I'm shocked, I tell you.
You're shocked at the technical aspect of... Holy moly. Just give me a sec. I think I might... If I plug in, I think you won't get a reverb. Great, isn't it? Okay. Are you still getting a reverb?
Testing. No woman has a penis. Testing.
Amazing.
No, I think it's good.
Okay, good. Good.
I think it's good. Yeah, so back in June, I went to a board meeting in the Tulsa Central Library, which is across the street from where we had our Let Women Speak Tulsa event.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go to the board meeting and check it out. And there was a giant table in the main room on the way to the children's reading room that was draped in a giant trans flag.
Have we lost you, or is that me?
No, I can't hear her either.
Okay, that's her then. Phew. Hi, Iris. Okay.
Hi.
I just want, what I'm hoping to achieve here is that everybody can join in this space and see my amazing hoodie, which you won't be able to see unless you're in my space. So unless you're watching the other thing. So Ali, we can no longer hear you. L'Esprit, I can't see the rest of your name, but I loved your tweets the other day. So what would you like to say on this TERF talk? Good evening.
Oh my God, I accepted your invitation, but I haven't got much to say, Kelly, really, at the moment. I'm listening, as always, with great interest.
Well, did you not read this lovely Sarah Dighton piece in Unheard about Candace Owens that she managed to link in?
I haven't. I've been at stupid work all day.
Well, I did hear you in the toilet the other day.
Oh my God! Oh, you remembered that? Yeah, Jesus Christ! Oh my! I was so angry. I was so angry. Oh my God! I was incandescent at work. It was really weird. It's really weird, all of this stuff, because it does feel like you're on sort of two separate planes. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I'm sitting there I work in construction, so I'm surrounded by guys, and oh my God, we've had some incredibly weird conversations, very depressing conversations actually, over the last couple of weeks about Iman Khalif, that fucking cheat.
Yeah.
About do you know what I found to be true, and it's something that actually Helen Joyce said, that men love hearing how much stronger they are than you in general. They love all that. They love hearing all that. They love you saying, "Oh yeah, well, you know, you're so much stronger," or whatever. But then when you actually say, "Okay, you're like," when you look at there is no overlap half the time. You know, they did. You know, untrained people. I sit beside a fellow. They're all into this. They're all slugging down the creatine and the fucking, you know, steroids. They're all down the gym and stuff. You know, it's just a very kind of alpha environment, which actually I don't dislike, but it can be a bit alienating. But yeah, this fella, I'm sitting next to an electrical engineer, and he does a bit of boxing himself, and he was like, "Oh, I got battered the other night by a girl. I got battered the other night," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, one woman didn't get knocked out the moment you jumped in the ring with her. That does not mean you can't." It's so difficult. They don't want to admit, like all these stabbings at women and everything. You go, whatever. It's just completely. No one mentions it. No one talks about it. It's a completely. It's like a war being waged upon women that men don't notice. There's a brilliant. Look at that, Kelly. Look at that. Oh, I don't have anything to say. Look at me crapping on.
Good. You carry on.
There's a brilliant SNL skit about The Handmaid's Tale, where it's 6 months after it's meant to be about 6 months after the Gilead has taken over, and all the women have been tagged like cattle, and they're all in their different uniforms and everything. The handmaids are wandering along, and one of them's missing an eye, and everything. It's totally dystopian. And they're walking along, and it's really foreboding music. You know that Handmaid's Tale music. Awful thing that makes you god awful. Whatever, and they're walking along the wall with all the hanging women on it, and they round a corner, and they bump into like 5 guys throwing an American football in the air, and they've got like a keg of beer, and they're going around, and they're like, "Jessica, hi," and she's like, "Greg, hi," and he's like, "Where did you guys go? We haven't seen you for ages." And she's like, they're like, "Well, do you not know that we have to do this? This thing has happened to women." And they're like, "Oh my God, no! We just thought you guys disappeared." Whatever. It does feel like that. The point being that everything that happens to women, men just don't. It just doesn't seem to permeate their existence at all.
Well, I'd love to agree with you. I'd love to agree with you, but I mean, on a mass scale, yes. But I guess I do have adult human female kind of signs on my office, which is where I get deliveries. And most of the men sort of say, "Oh, what do you do?" Because they're quite curious. I have a lot of deliveries. And I tell them, and they go, "Yeah, I agree with you. It's mad, isn't it?" And then the guy that I go to a Vietnamese nail bar. I have done my due diligence on that particular nail bar. But he was the guy today was talking about the boxers. Like he was saying, it's mad, isn't it? It's so crazy. And he's like my size because a lot of the Vietnamese men are quite small. And I don't know. I don't know whether men. There are certainly some men who are quite happy that this is happening to women because those uppity feminists wanting equal rights and all that. Of course, we should get punched around in a ring. But I do agree with you that until this issue came up, I think a lot of men were quite happy to just ignore it because I don't think they can remotely tap into what it feels like to feel vulnerable.
That is it. That's the exact thing.
And so,
actually, okay. Can I Kelly? Jesus, Kelly, can I jog your memory here? Do you remember about a year ago? I can tell you exactly what it was. It was my birthday. Did you remember? It was my birthday. It was my 40th birthday, and I said, "Oh, I'm really looking forward to being a hag." And I spoke at Let Women Speak. Now, obviously, with you going around the world and holding Let Women Speak all over the place every 10 minutes, I'm sure, obviously, I haunt your dreams. As a particular, and has no way. You're like, yes, let's free. After there's the millions of women that I've handed a mic to, obviously you loom large in my consciousness. but I did tell a story about my landlord coming over to fix the tap in my flat, and him saying, I can't even remember what fucking egregious thing had happened at that point. It wasn't the boxing; it was something else, some other fucking egregious thing that the trans lobby had done at that point a year ago. Cast your mind back. So he was plinking and plonking about under my sink, soaking the whole fucking place. and he goes from under, his disembodied voice comes out from under the sink, and he's like, "Have you seen that thing with women? And that bloke who thinks he's a woman, whatever." And I was standing there trying not to let him fucking flood the place. And I was like, yes, I have. What do you think about that? Like, feeling like I can't be too eager, but I was really excited, and we had a really good turkey time. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Well, men
A
know
lot of
what
men
men say when we're not there, right? So that's why fathers want to protect their daughters, because fathers have a better insight into how men feel about women than we do. We don't know what they say about us when we're not there. I mean, we have a pretty good
I don't
idea, I
think.
guess. But I think that's what it is. And I keep coming back to this thing that more women are okay talking about manspreading than they are about cocks in women's spaces. It's just so mad. Like mainstream feminism is in fact, I got accused by Sarah Ditum actually of being a liberal feminist, which is she said I was a liberal feminist back in the day because my children
They can't place you. They don't know what the fuck to throw at you. Have you noticed that?
It's just
They can't place you. If you did a ricochet, oh, you're a far right Nazi. You're a trad white robot. You're what's this latest thing? This lib dilettante.
Yeah, well, I was a lib fem because I raised my
you're
kids.
Sick. You're Machiavellian. You're a Machiavellian mastermind who has sort of fucking brainwashed everyone with your amazing brainwashing powers.
And
oh no,
I got
you're
Trump
sick as
elected.
shit, actually.
And I got Trump elected. Let me just tell you.
Oh, you got Trump? Oh, of course you did. Of course you did.
I did.
You got Trump elected.
I did.
You were single-handedly erasing abortion rights.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you do it, Kelly. To be honest. Like,
well, that's why I'm so tired. It's full time. That's why I'm so terribly
But yeah, they
tired.
can't seem. I have actually noticed that they can't seem to peg you ever, and they can't seem to alight on a single thing that will shut you up.
I know.
And sideline you. So it constantly becomes anyone who follows you is called a person follows you. Anyone who listens to you and fucking agrees with
even
you.
That word,
it's a cult of personality.
That word lately, I've just got to tell you, I keep seeing LWS or LWS followers or Kellie-Jay Keen followers, and I'm thinking, do you just mean women? Like, is that what you're talking about? Because I don't think that. I mean, clearly, I'm not without some qualities, but I just never get the feeling that people are like fans in a weird way. I just think people think that Let Women Speak is the best place for them, or they respect what it does. But this idea that people are kind of blind, and also, can I just say for the record, I absolutely hate people who say, or I hate it when people say, I don't agree with everything Kellie-Jay does, but, and I'm thinking, I don't agree with everything or anything that most people do. I agree with very little. I'm a really disagreeable woman, but I wouldn't say Douglas Murray. I don't agree with everything Douglas says, but, and I'm just like, just stop doing it. Just stop giving credibility to the guilt by association crap.
Oh my God, did you see? Sorry, guys, if anyone else wants to speak, wave at me and I will take it.
You carry on. I'm in charge of this space.
Yeah, I know, but I'm very conscious of the whole thing. It's not meant to be, just me sort of talking shite into the ether at a load of frustration strangers. I do enough of that myself in my own personal life, to be honest. But I was going to say, oh yeah, fucking. Douglas Murray, if that man was chocolate, he'd eat himself. I've never seen someone so fucking thrilled with himself. However, Jesus, does he make points? My God! But in a similar vein to if I can tell you what I can only tell you what I think is your appeal or your function or whatever, and it just stick a pin in how what I'm going to say, because it drives them mad, and I'll explain this as well. Is that what it is right? Do you cast your mind back? Do you remember when you went on Tucker Carlson? Right,
I do,
we're talking about 2 years ago now, right? 2 years ago.
I remember it well. It was an exciting time in my life.
It certainly was. I'm sure. In his wood panels, fake shed, whatever it was.
Such a nice man. I'm just going to say, while I've got the opportunity, such a nice man. such a nice man. But carry on.
He strikes me as one of those. I remember reading a book recently where it said that these American Republicans, they would, if you said to them, "I need $20,000 for my kids' dialysis or whatever," they'd write you a check sat there at the table. They are, when it is personal, person to person or whatever, they are phenomenally civic minded and giving. They would never let you spend a night out in the cold or whatever kind of thing. And they wouldn't even have to like you very much or want to, they would not walk by you or whatever if they know you, know your circumstances. But they can't extrapolate that to their sort of political thinking or whatever. So, and to be honest, I'm not here to debate, whether that's good or bad. That's not for me to talk about. But that is just something that. But I understand what you're saying. That I bet he is an incredibly charismatic gentleman to spend time with.
Yeah.
And then you watch some of his stuff and you think, oh fucking hell, do you know what I mean? But anyway, the point of what I would say is that 2 years is a long time in turfing. And I remember at that time, right? I remember we have a turfy group chat, and I remember us all, God, it was going thick and fast, right? And I remember vividly, I cringe about it now, Kelly, but I remember vividly going, I'm not sure about this. This looks really bad. I totally understand why she did it. If Navarro would have her on, she'd go on fucking Navarro, but they won't. If the Guardian would platform her, then she'd go in the fucking Guardian, but they won't. So, as Red Femme Pod, as Hannah Borelli and Jen Isaacson, who are just incredible interlocutors and feminists, they're just so interesting. They champion you all the time, but not from a position of, I just think she's so great. They actually literally say she's doing exactly what every single person who wants to get there, apparently it's a Leninist quote or whatever, stand on any pile of shit to make your voice carry. So if
me.
Tucker Carlson will have you on, and he has an audience share that is across America. You're beamed into 40% of living rooms or on people's phones or whatever. Then you would be a fucking imbecile.
Yes.
Not to go on Tucker Carlson, you stupid moron. You've got to get the fucking thing out, because we're single issue with this. Do you want this done or not? You don't have to agree with every single fucking thing that Tucker Carlson says. If he's giving you a platform that you can be beamed into, to 1 million living rooms, or people watching it on the way to work or on their phones or whatever, what kind of gobshite would review that or whatever? But I remember at the time that I was too sick at the time, right? So, person about 2 years ago. Right. So, this is this. I was barely conscious, right? But I remember saying, God, I'm not sure about this. Oh my God, this looks so bad for us, or whatever, But at the same time, I mean, Christ, you've got to get it out there. Now, I realize the brilliance of it again and again and again. Every single time I think I've got the brilliance, I've got the memo. Every single time I just think, this is fucking brilliant. Because it is, because that means that you let everyone come, and whoever you are you a lesbian? Get on the mic. Are you a stay-at-home mum? Get on the mic. Evangelical Christians, get on the mic. Jewish, Orthodox, get on the mic. Muslim woman, hijabi woman, get on the mic. Whatever. And every single person, they're not speaking to you. They're not even speaking completely to the people who are gathered around under a tree or in a town square or whomever. They are speaking to anyone watching who thinks, oh shit, I thought this was a feminist thing, and I don't want anything to do with feminists. I love my husband, I love my kids, I don't want to go out to work, I don't want any part of it, thank you very much. Or whatever. Or someone who is a feminist or lesbian thinking, I don't know, want a load of fucking housewives tell me what to do. Do you see what I mean? It is, well, of course you do.
I do.
You thought of it.
Yeah. I do see what you mean.
So, yeah.
It was, we did it once, and then I just thought, this is just amazing, and why wouldn't we do it every month? And as I say frequently, history is not made up of people that were the most wonderful, brilliant geniuses. It's made up of people who showed up a lot, weren't fly by night, but actually put the hours in and the commitment. And that's who gets
this is the thing. The other thing that I think, sorry to cut across you, this is the other thing I think is, like you said to me, I'm only one person, but you said to me, did you have a chance to cast an eye over that article? And I said, no, it was a work kind of thing. Like, people don't have time to sit around and read. I'm not anti-intellectualism. I read the bookworm myself. I love reading. I've got books beside me on my bed here right now that I was doing before Nay sent me an invitation to join the space or whatever, saying, "Oh, Kelly's speaking." I thought, "Oh God, I've got to go and do that." But I love reading. But some of these fucking things are we allowed to name, or should we be? Are we going to be good?
Names. Let's not be coy.
I name them by name. Saying Claire Jones, I don't think the woman has a bad. I think that I don't think she's stupid or anything like that. But I do think she's completely divorced from reality. Like, how are you supposed to? If you're so fucking elitist, who's good enough to come into your little club? Is it going to be
also, look, it depends what you want, doesn't
sat in a room?
Do you want an essay that proves that you can say many words to say something and to
well, she
make
can't really, Kelly. Have you read the most recent thing?
Well, I don't think she really understands her issue, which is why it takes her too many words to explain it. Because I do think that if you could explain something in one paragraph, why would you use 3,000 words? Anyway,
yeah, you need an elevator pitch. Yeah,
I'm going to say thank you so much for being
thank you so much.
And
cheers, guys. Thanks for letting me crap on.
Oh, you're very welcome. Taylor Advocate, you've been up here as a speaker. I'm not going to do the normal hands up because I can't be responsible for looking at so many screens. But while we wait for Taylor to step in, can I just say for those of you that can see me, which are not people in the space, but we do actually have a dual thing going on where there's also a live. Our beer mats came in today. And oh my God, I'm a genius, right? I wonder if you can see it if I hold it over here at the light. So we've got Fella Artois, which is this one, and they're £5 for 10. Not Miguel. There's that one. They are perfect. She is Ken, which is like Heineken, kind of like Heineken. I mean, I'm not saying it is, which is premium inequality. And we also have Guinness, no penis, which is pure woman. They are genius. And they will help fund this little outfit that I've got going on. Anyway, Taylor, what would you like to say? I probably should say good evening. This is TERF Talk Tuesday on a Thursday. My name is Kellie-Jay. What would you like to say?
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
First of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for letting my teenage daughter speak at Hyde Park the other Sunday. That's firstly what I want to say, because I didn't have a chance to, I think, thank you on the day. So thank you so much for that. She really, really appreciated it. Despite it being a Thursday, I have just poured my second vodka and apple juice because I'm very working class. So vodka and apple juice is my drink of choice because it's been one heck of a week or so. I'm going to start off quite morbid and then I'm going to get good. So I'm an IDVA. I'm a domestic abuse advocate, and I work in the family court system. I have sadly taken the decision to step away from that a little bit because I lost my third victim, female client, in 5 years. Last Wednesday, she took her life after losing her 3 children to her abusive exes. So the court system is fucked up, just like the criminal court system, like the civil court system. It's all against women, and I'm sick and tired of it. And it's made me so stressed and so angry that it's just taking a toll on my family. And so it's been a tough week, and that's why I am on the vodka and apple juice. But on the subject of you putting up things on your office windows and stuff, I know that some people in the space have heard me say this before, and I do apologise if you've heard me say this before, that I sound like a bit of a broken record. I do the same. My house is covered in LWS stuff and personally printed stuff. I have an LWS sticker on my letterbox, on my front door, but also I have LWS stickers and posters and things all over my car. And I find that really does work, because every time you stop at a traffic light or at a stop sign, or you're stuck in traffic, the car behind you, they can't help but read what is on your car. They're staring at the car in front of you, and so they're going to read it. And I added an extra poster to my car for the last 3 weeks, saying boycott the Paris Olympics and save women's sports. And I was at my local spa about a week ago, and I was about to pull out. I'd done my shopping. I was about to pull out. This white van like screeched behind me and came to a stop. I don't know why my first thought wasn't terror, but it wasn't. And the guy got out, tapped on my window. I wound down my window, and he gave me a massive thumbs up. And he said, "I agree with all your stickers, all your posters. They are amazing." And so I think that helped spread the word as well. Obviously, the T-shirts help spread the word. Kelly, you saw me the other day in one of your T-shirts. I've got loads, and in the winter I have my hoodies for them, and I wear them when I can, and I sticker around everywhere I go. But the one place that they can't take your posters and your stickers is inside your car windows. If you paste them on inside your car windows, then they can't just come and take them off. And I know that people might then be scared, well, what will happen to my car? But I started doing this about 2 years ago, and touch wood, I've never had any damage to my car. And I've only had one person stand up to me and say trans women are women and flip me the bird in all those 2 years. So there are little things that you can do. And if you are a person that isn't necessarily someone who can feel like they can approach someone in the street or strike a conversation in the supermarket or something, then having things around on your house windows and stuff or on your car is a great way, because that people will see it without having to see even who isn't sitting in the car and seeing you in the car. And also, just one last thing. Most of you probably know, but Sal Grover's verdict is coming in at midnight our time. I understand there is a space. I don't know who's hosting it. There's a space tonight that is going to be obviously a late one or going into the early hours because of the verdict.
What's your money
watch
on,
out
Taylor?
for that.
Do you think she's going to lose?
I think she's going to lose, and I think that she knows she's going to lose, and I think she's ready for the appeal, and I think that the appeal will be the important bit.
Yeah, I just have a feeling that the Australian court system is so tied up, and I think it's.
But I think in the long run, I think I know it sounds counterproductive, but I say this from a legal sense. I think that losing in the first instance is not always a bad thing, because
everybody will wake up and it will make more news.
Yeah, well, one, it will pique people, obviously, definitely. But two, the appeal can come in. She'll have the right to appeal, and if she wins the appeal, then that's a lot better than winning this first round, than him appealing and him winning the appeal.
I don't know who you mean by he. What a bigoted, terrible thing you just said.
Such a Nazi.
We are all looking upon Roxy Tickle as a role model and a style beauty icon. But thank you, Taylor.
On that note, I will shut up and let other people speak. But thank you, Kelly, for everything that you do.
You're very welcome.
And that statement as well, and the people who signed it. What a piece of shit. I said that in another couple of spaces. Ignore it. One thing I have said is that most of the people that have signed that, I don't even recognise the names. they're pretty
No,
insignificant.
it was a big long list of who on earth are you? Well, look,
exactly,
I just want to say to everyone that signed this statement, thank you so much, because we did have a really good weekend of sales. So I don't know, it certainly helped my grifting. Moving on, women are speaking. Ireland. Hello, good afternoon, good evening. It's TERF Talk Tuesday. You can say who you are, and I've just told everyone. What would you like to say?
Hi, yeah. We actually were just glad to hear you all talking about the Olympics. We actually did two kind of like protests in the city centre of Dublin, across from Trinity College. And the reason why we chose Trinity College is because the president of the student union is a man who pretends he's a woman.
Oh, that's nice.
And yeah, and actually has put up has like, you know, inside the Trinity College has like trans rights are human rights, and I'm there going, what rights do they not fucking have? You know, they seem to have more rights than women these days, because you can't even speak your mind or anything like that. But I actually have a funny story about our protest. We actually had loads of people on the Friday of the first weekend of the Olympics. We had loads of people, like, you know, even taxi drivers shouting out, "Oh yeah, it's about time somebody bleeding said," and bus drivers cheering us on, and you know, because it was right in a college green, so there was traffic everywhere, and then there was tourists, and we had loads of people coming up to us, like, you know. Yeah. And just like, I think the Olympics has actually peaked, you know, the lay people, if you want to call it a better word, the people that haven't been involved in this sort of thing, which is probably a good thing in a way, because people are now sick of the shit. But on the Saturday of the final for the Olympic boxing, I think it was the Taiwan boxer,
the other bloke,
the other guy. Yeah, the other bloke. Yeah, so we were in town on Saturday again in College Green, and this guy had seen us all coming up with our posters and stuff like that, and setting up and just standing there, you know, and he was there frantically buying, because there was a stall nearby where you could buy a whole load of the progressive pride flags, and he had that there, and he was just standing there all on his lonesome, and he waved it in this guy's face, right? This guy, like, he was like effing and blowing up, "Get that second thing out of my face," and came over and gave us support and stuff. It was actually quite funny. But we did have like one or two people like shout abuse at us, like, and you know, there's this one man, he came up and he started calling us all a bunch of fucking idiots and stuff like that, and we were just like, you know, just going, you know, well, why are you stopping here to just call us a bunch of idiots? Just keep going on. You don't have to agree with everything that we have on our posters here. You know what I mean? Yeah. And just like, just move on. You know, there's like, why are you trying to intimidate us? You know, like one of the other girls that was there, you know, and you know, it's just like, it's just madness that we have to, like, you know, like have print posters that say "Save Women's Sports," you know, and like I did a kind of a collage of different kind of things, like saying that the Olympics 2024 set back women's rights by 100 years. And I don't know if anyone actually heard about that movie, The Young Woman and the Sea. And your one actually went over, she was from America, but she went over to the Paris Olympics in 1924. And women were always, you know, treated as second-class citizens in the Olympics. And they weren't even given much training time and stuff like that. And they had to fight to be taken seriously in the sport, and now today we have to do it again, and it's just like, what on earth is going on with society? And it's just pure madness. So we are going to have.
How do you feel it's going down in Ireland? Because I'm surprised it's going on here, because everyone in England is well, not everyone, but culturally we're quite sort of point stuff out. A lot of tutting and so on, but sort of Ireland, I feel like it's lost its sense of humour over this, and I would have thought that this would be the place, you know, where people would just take the mickey out of this, and it's not really happened. Why do you think it's settled so well in Ireland? This nonsense.
I have no idea. Like, I think our government is also to blame for a lot of this sort of stuff. You know, like like, I think, just to kind of, yeah, I just think, the way the government has kind of like gone down the whole progressive route, like, yes, we got like, marriage equality, we all vote for it, and which is great. Like, don't get me wrong, like,
lesbian rights before abortion rights, right? In some parts.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like, so in 2015 there was a Gender Recognition Act, and we had 4 TDs, which is what we call our ministers. Basically, signed this in and was just snuck under the radar. No one knew anything about it, and now it's going to take about 10 TDs to try and get a debate in the Dáil again, which is our parliament, for those people who are not Irish. So it's kind of like we're trying to like repeal the whole GRA, but the problem is there are some people that want to actually just dismantle it, and you're just like, but by the time you dismantle it, like, the damage is done, like, I understand people they're trying to be nice about it, and you're just like, we can't be nice about this because this goes against all the safeguarding laws that are already in place.
Yeah, well, we can be nice if we really don't like women. I think that's the only way this works, is if you don't consider what women actually lose from this. I mean, it just, nothing else makes sense. Because in every other kind of competing rights, you would have a look at what it means for both parties, and nobody's really given a shit what happens to women. Joy. Let me just say to everybody that's listening, this is going out on YouTube and Facebook also, because it's a live stream as well as Spaces. So if you want to speak, you need to volunteer to be a speaker. We're not having any phone in this evening, so everything that's happening is coming in from Twitter, so that I just felt it might be an easier place for people who often speak, and I'm seeing loads of people who speak in loads of spaces. Spiky, for example, Emma, Maureen. None of you are speakers on my whatever it's called, Spaces. So if you have anything to say about the statement, and I will thank you, Woman are Speaking Ireland, but if you've got anything to say regarding the statement, the recent gaslighting and just weird stuff that's happening all over the country, and what you might think it means, if you too have been unlisted by your GP, or have anything to do with the wonderful NHS or your healthcare provider, or if you're Ali Snyder and you want to tell everyone what happened to you in the library, then please do.
Thank you. I've been booted out a couple times now, so I will just try to be quick.
No,
it's not you. Well, come on, boss. You just have to listen to me speak too much, I guess, is what it is.
I'm just frightened you're going to ask for something from me, but you carry on.
Always. So, Tulsa Library, back in June, I go in. There's a giant table draped with a trans flag and all sorts of books promoting different gender identities. And I walk through the children's section. On my way out of the children's section, there's a manned table there. So there's a table with volunteers to sign children up for the summer reading program. And I noticed the butcher paper has a bunch of trans flags drawn on it. So I point at one of the trans flags and I say to the person at the table, I'm not even really looking at that person, I'm too distracted by the image on the butcher paper. I say, this makes me so sad to see the library promoting child medicalization. And the person says, what do you mean? That's the trans rights flag. And I said, well, I'm from California, and I've met a lot of young women who've been harmed by the drugs and the surgeries. And I listed some of the brave detransitioners that I've met in person, like Layla Jane, who lost her breast when she was 13. And we start having a conversation, and this person, says how sad that made them, and that they had no idea that this was happening to kids who were just gender nonconforming. And I said, well, don't worry, it's not happening here in Oklahoma because there's good laws in place to protect kids, but states like California are luring people away. Then an adult librarian, a female librarian, comes over because it occurred to me as I was talking to this person that they looked like they were in their late teens. An adult staffer comes over and she says, "What are you guys talking about?" So I went over a few things and she said, "Do you have kids here?" And I said, "No, but I have children and I'm checking out the library." I said, "What does that have to do with anything?" She says, "Well, you really shouldn't be here if you don't have children with you." And I said, "Well, like I said, I'm checking it out." And she said, "Well, you shouldn't be talking politics with the teenagers." And I said, "Well, this isn't political." And I said, "This isn't political. And there's this image in front of this teenager on the table, so I should be able to talk about it." And she looks over my shoulder and says to somebody, "Call security. This woman needs to be removed."
Well, you were talking politics to a child, to an under 18. So
I was. Fair enough. So I pull out my phone to start recording the interaction, and the security guard comes up and she's screeching at me that I'm not allowed to film. And the security guard comes and says it's against the library policy to film. And so I said, "Well, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. It's not posted anywhere." And we start walking towards the front. He says, "You need to leave." I said, "Show me where it's posted that I'm not allowed to film in here, because that's a violation of my First Amendment rights." And he can't produce it. It's not posted anywhere. So he hands me this flyer that's a rule, like rules of the things you're not allowed to do in the library. I say, "Cool." It doesn't say there's a prohibition on recording anywhere on this rules form. So I say, "Okay, well, I'm just still going to wait until you all tell me where this rule is and where it's posted." They can't produce it. I ended up leaving. And then last week, I went to another board meeting for the library commissioner to speak about the harms of gender ideology.
Yeah.
And I'm in the library waiting for the meeting to start, and I get approached by a security guard to say, "Are you Allie Snyder?" I say, "Yeah." And he says, "You've been trespassed. You're not allowed to come to any of the Tulsa Library locations. You're not allowed to be here. And you've been served with this notice already." I said, "Really?" The only notice I've gotten from the library is that I'm allowed to come and address the board. And he says, "No, it was sent via certified mail." I said, "That's really interesting because y'all don't have my address." So anyway,
mad. So mad.
It's mad. And I've got an appeal. I've written an appeal. I had an attorney help me draft an appeal for the suspension, because the suspension letter is quite alarming. They say that I, quote unquote, inappropriately engaged with a juvenile library volunteer.
Which anybody reading it would sound like you'd molested somebody, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so it's quite alarming. And again, I think it's a violation of our rights to not be able to film in a public space. So I am appealing it. But the library doesn't even have a place where you can email the library director or any of the library staffers. So I have all these people I'm sending my appeal to. I call the library to get their email addresses, and I'm told that it's a privacy policy that they do not give these email addresses out to the public.
So what are you going to do? Are you going to send your stuff via certified mail to the actual library? Or just maybe
I figured once the carrier pigeon that I sent you comes back from across the pond, I'll just use that. But
it'd be like that. Call blimey, I've just been to England. I'm ever so tired.
I'll say, "Shut up. Get your ass to Tulsa, pigeon." Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's, but I think it's so for those people listening all over, it's Tulsa Library. So this is kind of flyover state where you would hope that this stuff hasn't arrived yet, but it really has. And I keep coming back to that these women, so the woman that called the security, she's just morality police. You know, she was living in Iran. She's the morality police. That's what these women are. They're Aunt Lydia's or whatever. They're the morality police, and they think they're on the right side. But the trouble is they're all incredibly thick. So they have no critical thinking, which is why they go along with this stuff. But it's crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely. But it is a fair warning to everyone. Even in Ruby Red, Oklahoma, it does not matter. These cultists have completely infiltrated the library system, the American Library Academy. They've completely infiltrated all the teachers' unions.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter where you are. You absolutely have to fight. And I will keep y'all updated with the status of the libraries moving forward. But
yeah, thank you for that.
Anyway, thanks.
If you want to support Ali, which is really supporting Let Women Speak, she is our American ambassador for Let Women Speak, and she runs the store over there, which is letwomenspeak.online. So if you want to help us help Ali.
I'll be getting some beer mats too soon, right, boss? You're going to send them back with the pigeon, yeah?
Yeah, I am. That pigeon, just amazing. Commitment to the cause, does it all for free. So if you want to buy some beer mats, they'll be with Ali in about, I don't know, 7 days. But they are, honestly, I can't tell you, I'm so excited. You wait till you receive them. They are they're just wonderful, and they're not very expensive. So you can leave them in pubs or you can do it and you can watch people discover them, because they just look at that. Look at that. And they sound like them. Anyway, nice to talk to you, Ali Snyder. Going over a little bit north, Maureen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Kellie-Jay?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks. What do you have to say on this wonderful, wonderful evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you?
Afternoon, almost 4 o'clock. Well, I was just about to cut my lawn and listen to you guys with my buds in, but then I heard my name and I thought, okay, I'll say something. But I'm telling you, these women that are in here are probably sick of hearing me.
Well, there's a few things in the nest about that, but I've ignored them. So you just carry on.
So quickly, that's incredible, Ali. I hope it goes well. Keep us posted. And I also see Roisin in here, and I just want to say to her, I haven't had the chance. That was amazing that you went to the Olympics in Paris and did that. Like, you blew my mind. It was incredible. If I could have flown over and joined you, I hope you know I would have. So well done. Like, so proud of you.
And then so responsible for He's a Man in the...
Yes, she is. That's her. There, she's down there.
Oh my God, we got sound effects in this space. Like, this is the best. This is like the LWS of spaces. So yeah, sorry, carry on. I'll shut up, Maureen. What would you like to say?
Okay, so what was I going to say? Okay, so sort of conjoining two things together. So with regards to that letter, whatever that is, nonsense that they wrote about you.
Yeah.
I want to say this, and I think it's important because I don't know that I've ever actually said about where I come from as a conservative. And the thing is, it's all about class. I think most of us have come to learn that, and many of you may not have seen it that way. Especially, I get it in the UK. It's conservatives or Tories or like demons or whatever. It's not quite the same here, although we use the same terminology with conservative. But it seems to me that letter and the people, mostly the women who are all about that, like, have boogeymaned what a conservative is. And I like to think that I am the representative of how you can be okay with being conservative. I've never been of the left, although I am a first-generation Canadian. My parents came from Ireland and Scotland, and when they came here, they voted very, very left. It's called NDP. And I am a conservative because I was taught to be hand up, not hand out, although there are people in society that need it. But you must do the best that you can to become the best you can. And so that's me. I've tried my best. Yeah. And so I want to vote for people that think like that try like me, that reward or at least not punish you, okay, for doing exactly that. So, like, the stigma around it, and it's the same in the States with the Republicans and the Democrats, although Republicans now are the opposite. Like, literally in the States, it has turned around, as it has in Canada. So
they're more like old-fashioned liberals, aren't they? Like Tucker Carlson, for example, he's a classic liberal.
And he's anti-war. Like, can you listen to these people talk? Because if you listen to them talk, you'll start to realize there's some people, like those letter writers, who are stuck still in what the ideology of a word means, left and right, and labor and conservative. Whereas, can we just, I beg you all to start thinking about, what does it mean? I mean, I really believe there's going to come a time when these titles won't be representative and we won't use left, right, because it doesn't mean anything anymore. So please, if there's one thing that I could, urge people to do, is to think about the issues and not be so concerned about the label. And that goes for, going to these protests with the 2-tier policing and stuff.
Yeah.
Think with your own mind and do what you want. I always have, and it's served me well. And, let's do that. Thanks, Kellie-Jay.
Yeah. You're very welcome. I'm gonna. I concur that. I think. Well, I think the left will hang on to their labels far longer than anyone else, because I think, in order to, especially if you've moved from the left, in order to move from the left, you have to have thought about your views and why you have them. And I think that's a fundamental difference. If you've always been on the right, then maybe you don't really think of your views and maybe you're just as tribal. But if you're someone that has moved, it means that you've probably had to re-examine your positions and you've come up with a different answer and you've come up with a different strategy. I'm now a leader of a party, so I know how I'd vote. If I could vote for myself, I would. But that's because I'm a raging narcissist and that really suits me politically. But if I wasn't a leader of a party, then I would be looking at the thing I care about the most and looking at the party who best represents that. And I wouldn't really give a shit whether or not that party was the same as I voted for last year or the same that I will vote for next year or in whatever election. But I definitely vote on issues. And it's been really interesting to see some of the CNN stuff going on in the United States when they're interviewing people. And it's Don Lemon. Maybe he's not CNN anymore. I think he got shafted, didn't he? But it's some of these conservative, some of these lefties, and they're interviewing people that they assume to be also voting Democrat. And a lot of these people, when they say they're not voting Democrat, they give you a reason why they're voting for Trump. And I think that's such a huge difference between, why do you want to vote for Kamala? Well, she'll be the first black female president. Well, that's not a reason to vote for anyone. Whereas I'll say I'm voting for Trump because I was better off under Trump, or my wages went better, or the gas was cheaper, or groceries were cheaper on the supermarket shelves, or he's no longer going to allow men to punch the faces of women in a boxing ring. But they will have a reason. They often say, this is my reason for voting for this person. And it's often a policy reason. It's very rarely, well, I like him, I think he's great. Like, people aren't saying that about why they're voting for Trump. So, I mean, personally, I said it last time. I'll say it again, just in case anyone's a little bit hard of hearing. I would vote for Trump in a heartbeat. I'd absolutely and unashamed that I would vote for him. I also think he needs to be peaked fully, to be quite frank. But he's so much further ahead than Kamala Harris, who... I listened to Michelle Obama, who you forget, but she was actually married to someone who was a politician. I don't know what else she's done beyond that means that she gets such a massive platform. Like, why is it that women who are married to someone get to speak to anybody about politics? But anyway, that's another issue. But she talked about how we have to let children love who they love. Like, is that a paedophile like line? I think it might be. And certainly one that they use. I'm not saying that she is one. I'm just saying it seems like a dodgy thing to say. And also that she's pro mutilating kids, as is the entirety of the Democrat Party. Like, why would anyone vote for them? I have no idea. And all the women that have been fighting this for these last few years, who put them in office last time knowing that Biden was going to put an executive order, right? I think, you have to be accountable for your vote. And I'm afraid you screwed women, all of you. Anyway, on that, let's go to Spiky. Good evening, Spiky. This is TERF Talk.
Hi, Kelly.
You don't have to say who you are, but carry on.
I was sitting down there minding my own business, just about to put my feet up and have a game of pool. And then I heard Spiky. And I nearly strangled myself trying to get my other headset on so I could come on with my mic.
Oh, well, thanks so much for that.
Yeah, I rushed.
Extra
I
effort.
rushed. Yeah, I rushed. I don't do rush. Sorry. One thing in reference to that letter
Yes.
that went round, the first time I saw it, it was the evening I think it was published. I saw it in Belfast Space, Belfast Beatnik. And she was fucking awesome. Yeah, she was fucking awesome. You all know I swear.
Yeah, you
but she was awesome. Yeah, but everybody knows I swear I'm terrible. She was awesome. Yeah, she said, first off, she thought it was a hoax. And then a woman came in supporting it, going, I agree with every little bit of that letter. And Belfast was like, well, tell me just one bit of the letter you agree with. And the woman couldn't answer her. And I had to say, Belfast, I don't think I've seen you since then. Fucking thumbs up, mate. That was brilliant.
It's mad though. I just think they all look stupid. Like every single last person who signed that letter looks like an imbecile.
Well, I'm absolutely convinced that women that have been supporting Kellie-Jay Keen have been targeted almost stalker-like because they support you, and it is beyond ridiculous. And I think you have to have been a few rounds in a tough spot to actually survive them. Yeah, you know, I'm quite gobby. Yeah, and I quietened down for a few months. Yeah, because I was like, oh, yeah, I did. I really did. I kind of stopped holding spaces for ages because I was like, you know, when you know, I kept feeling like I was going to lose my shit or I needed to put armor on to host a space.
Yeah.
And whenever I hosted a space, this particular woman would come in, start causing shit. And one night, I was like, I'm not putting a space up. And I was in a jitsi with a couple of mates. And she started quote tweeting me, and I was like, Jesus Christ, why can't she let me alone? And I was going to let rip and sort of like effing this, effing that, and effing that. And I had one mate on one side going, yeah, do it. And I had another mate on the other side going, no, don't. Yeah, and it was brilliant because it's exactly the same voices I had going on. And in the end, I managed to write something that I felt okay about. But it makes you feel, it takes energy. You know, if you want to open up a space and hang out with your mates and have a laugh and a giggle, and you know someone is going to come in and target you with racism, bigoted, you know, I'm a Brexiteer. Yeah, so that automatically makes me a racist bigot.
You've caused no end of harm to this country with your democracy and your votes.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if I could, right now, I'd put like oars on one side of the UK and get everybody pushing away from the continent. Yes. Because I swear to God, if we weren't, the only reason we're TERF Island and hanging as strong as we are, is because we got out of the EU. Okay. And I hope our politicians are shit scared at how strong we're going to want to come out of the European Convention of Human Rights.
Well, I just can't believe we're still. I was really. I think, like most people, I didn't know too much. I just knew that it was anti-democratic, but I did vote to remain. But I knew that it was anti-democratic, and I really hated the way that the Greeks were treated. It just felt really off for me.
That's why I got behind Corbyn. When Corbyn was standing up for the Greeks, I was like, yeah. Join the Labour Party, too bloody well, vote for Corbyn.
Yeah.
And afterwards it was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real smack in the chops. So
I think there's something weird going on with many women's groups. Somebody told me today about another women's group who had basically asked a woman to delete her tweets in support of Israel. Now, this is hearsay, so I'm not going to name the particular group, but I just want to say, let women speak is just, that's it. That's the deal. We create space, women are allowed to speak, and that's the end of it. And we will support those women in order to allow them to say whatever the bloody hell they want. But I think there's this weird thing with these rabidly obsessed women, and they don't know that they're just jealous, and it sounds so tedious and it really minimizes what they do. But I think they are fueled. It can't be anything else other than something really strong emotion, because it's not logical.
I think it's a combination of jealousy and absolute lack of appreciation for all that they have done for us.
Yeah, and it's very odd to see, like with the Ali Cisse thing the other day, where she totally went for and accused a grooming gang survivor of being racist, and not having the insight at all to understand that no matter how she said it, it was always gonna look horrendous, and weaponizing male violence and all that. All of those things, it doesn't matter how you say it, you're not gonna come off well. You're just not. So you just can't say it. Even if she really thought she was right, you just can't say that stuff. And I just don't think those women are so kind of embroiled in their own little WhatsApp group where all of them are sort of egging each other on all the time, I can only imagine, and winding each other up, that they have no idea how the outside world sees them, and it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, well, that one time when I actually named the woman concerned, I'm not naming her in this space, but I named her, and there was a tweet put out, and the surprise was how many other women came forward to say that they'd experienced similar situations. And it's like, well, if you're in this fight for women, kind of attacking women,
yeah,
ain't the best way to go.
No, I mean, I just, I don't know. I've been attacked for a long time, really quite badly for a long time. Really, very, very successful attacks sometimes, and quite relentless and orchestrated, and lots of women coming for me at once. And I remember when the left used to attack me, probably 50% of the people would reply agreeing that I was the things that they said, and it was, it wasn't. I'm not saying it was that tough. I've got a very happy kind of life outside of activism, and so it wasn't like I went to bed at night questioning myself, because I don't do that. But it was tricky, and then you just don't respond to this stuff, and then everyone just sees it for what it is. And now I don't have to say anything, and now I'm in a position where I can respond without and everybody's already seen what these women are like. I mean, I have heard Julie Bindle's deactivated, actually.
Oh, I don't know about that, but one thing I will say, I've been around long enough now to know it's strategic. I remember before you went to America, they put some shit out. I think that might have been the pound shop Eva LeBron thing, or was that before you went to Australia? But each time you had success, and I think what they were doing is putting out some sort of like notification, like what a bad person you are. So all the newbies that were coming on would be scooped over to that side and not be channeled to the bad bigots that follow Kellie-Jay Keen.
Yeah.
And I actually think that the Women's Magazine was anyone that had any dissatisfaction with you. I think they were pretty much grooming them into come to me, be with us.
I heard the feminist cause, the first or second like day of feminist stuff was very much about me. That's what I've heard.
Excellent.
It's totally like, or it might have named me. Don't know if it named me. It might have been like this statement where everybody knew who they were talking about. But in the end, it's just funny because they've made themselves totally and utterly irrelevant. Because the only people latching on are people that also hate me. It seems like there's you either hate Kellie-Jay and you don't think that that group are insane, or you really hate me. But what surprised me is loads of women saying solidarity to Ali after she'd said that awful stuff to the grooming gang victim. And then Julie Bindle, I think, put something out this morning that was a little bit like, where are all the men in other feminist campaigns? And she was it was very sketchy, and maybe that's why she deactivated, because she looked like she was also putting out another kind of Jane Claire Jones-ish kind of distancing themselves from me, whatever she was doing. And then Sarah Ditum has managed to, in the bit where we talk about Candace Owens being a raging anti-Semite now, Sarah Ditum's done an article and she's just chucked me in it and talked about me and linked some bizarre things about me. And she's the one that called me pound shop Marine Le Pen. So all these women are crazy. They're crazy, but we are the victors, and we didn't even have to do any heavy lifting. They did it all. They sabotaged themselves, which is perfect in my eyes. But thank you for joining, Spiky.
Didn't feel like I had a choice. You're kind of like the boss.
Yeah, well, this is true. So I'm glad you obeyed that call for your Your dulcet tones. So thanks so much. On to L'Esprit.
I believe it.
Go on.
I believe it was Coach first, then L'Esprit.
Thank you so much, Iris.
Yeah, I'm good for something.
Hi, Coach.
Hello, Kelly. Just a couple of things I wanted to make you aware of. It was a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4. I had a letter for a smear test.
Yeah.
And I asked, and I've had personal complications, and I said, look, would it be possible to make sure that I have a female only? And I said that, no man or no transgender. And I was told I could not refuse a transgender person. So I didn't have the smear then. I just said, okay, I want to cancel it. So I haven't had one since, but I've had menopause since. So anyway, that's the first thing I just wanted you to be aware of. And the second thing is, I had permission from a client of mine, who's a young lady, and she was in the care system, and she was placed with somebody who was transitioning male to female.
Jesus.
And he sexually assaulted her. Social workers didn't believe her, and she was put in it. Somebody recommended me to her, somebody else, because I help advocate for these kids, and I managed to get her moved. But there's nothing to say. That was through a local authority, but he came through a private agency. Nothing's been said about these children. Now, this man was transitioning.
They were trapped a long time ago. So before it was in mainstream schools, it was in the care system. It was in the foster care system. They were all going to days to learn how to be LGBTQ plus allies, which we know really means trans. But they got captured a really long time ago. The care system. It's horrendous.
It is absolutely horrendous, and the mood swings that this man had as well. Obviously, taking the medication, etc. Nothing has been monitored for these poor children to suffer.
Well, it's also a red flag.
And these
to
are 2 young girls.
But it's a red flag to a paraphilia, and it pisses me off that everyone pretends it's not. But
he groped the girl. He made them undress in front of him. It was absolutely horrendous. I mean, she's now 18, and she's given me permission to say this about her story. But it's absolutely horrendous what she's had to go through, and she's needing therapy over it.
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, obviously, if you're in the care system, your life has already been incredibly challenging. It means your parents either didn't want to or couldn't look after you, and so it's already horrendous. There's you're very lucky if you come out of that even sort of 75% whole, but to then have the added, as many children have, the added trauma of being abused in care, and then the extra layer of, probably when she tells her story, some people will accuse her of transphobia. It definitely will happen.
She said she's willing to speak to a journalist, but I said I'm not doing it until I'm 100% sure that you're going to be safe, because I know what the mobs can be like.
Well, she could do it anonymously. I've got a very, very nice contact.
Yeah.
If she wants to, she could definitely do it completely anonymously. And they would hide all everything they needed to. But I think it's such an important story that, like you said, like when she's ready. I mean, she comes first, but when she's ready, I'm giving her some
coach therapy at the moment. But she said that I want to let people know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's other people she could talk to, There's there's other people I could put you in touch with that aren't necessarily journalists, but certainly know how to what inroads they can make in other places, and where her story would be told. That means other people in positions of power would be able to, and power and influence would be able to hear it. So if you want to contact me through the website, then
absolutely, I was going to contact Emma Nicholson.
Yes, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I'm a member of the Conservatives, so I was going to take it to them once they sort the leader out.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing.
She is. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
you're
you.
very welcome. Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
Take care, Kelly.
And you. L'Esprit.
Hi, chaps. Thank you for letting me speak again. I promise I won't crap on to the same.
Well, you say that, but none of us believe you now.
Welcome to my podcast. No, honestly, I am aware that other people want to speak.
Stop it. Just speak. It's fine.
Okay. Listen, Coach, I was feeling in a great mood there, but what you just said, I don't know where to put how angry and desolate hearing something like that makes me. Like I could chew the plaster off the walls. Do you know what I mean? These are real children, real people like you said, Kelly, who are already vulnerable and have been kicked and kicked and kicked and kicked and just need somewhere safe to take a breath and recover and be fed and clothed and looked after, and a bit of a fucking respite from being kicked and kicked and kicked by life when they are just little kids. And we are sacrificing them on the altar of a fucking fetish.
Yeah.
It is so disgusting. I can't even, honestly, I like I say, I genuinely, I don't know where to put the depth of feeling that it brings up in me. But anyway, I wanted to just go back to, the nature of the beast of these things is that we lurch back. We'll talk about something else and someone else will come in and then they'll lurch back on something that I said 10 minutes after we've moved on to something else. So forgive me for, handbrake turning us back to what was spoken about before. But I wanted to just say about, first of all, I didn't know that Julie Bindel had deactivated. No one tells me anything.
Somebody messaged me today. I don't know. I haven't checked, but somebody messaged me today that she did do something that was vaguely around the who are these men? They don't really care about us. They've never joined us in marches. And I thought, well, maybe they don't like feminists, but there you go.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Why? They've never joined you on marches. You don't go on marches, you twat. You sit in your fucking flat taking the piss at people. Honest, writing about fucking how you don't like people eating crisps on trains.
Well, maybe they're all crisp eaters. Maybe that's why they haven't joined you, Julie. Maybe they love a bag of salt and vinegar.
Maybe they're elbow deep into a multi-pack and don't like the cut of your gin.
Maybe they've got kids on planes.
But I did want to say, just very briefly, that I did anyone else cop earlier when she loves doing this. It's so cringe. I don't like.
I know what you're going to say. I know what you.
Wait, let me finish. Wait,
let me write it down.
Let me finish. If I was there with you, I'd put my hand over.
Calm down. Calm down.
Okay.
Go on.
Do you know? Okay.
Don't make me step in here.
She absolutely loves the woman. Absolutely loves being part of a little clique, doesn't she? And she loves absolutely. There isn't a photo in a fucking mediocre restaurant in central London that doesn't have her gurning face, happily, shinily leaning out of it, where with the hoi polloi of the GC upper echelon, queen of whom is of course Our Lady J.K. Rowling. Now I am as utterly
I'm on blankety blank here. You can't see this. Just wait there. You can't see this. Oh, no, nor can anybody else. So here I've written J.K. Rowling on this bit of paper.
Shut up! Okay, well, what I was going to say, and Kelly, see if you cop this. I'm sure listen, knowing you would have died just as much as I did, right? So I'm at work. I go on Twitter as is my wont, and I see this where she's like, she loves. Than dropping the name.
Yes.
She'll drop it at any point. At any point, it's you can practically with an audible clang, that she's dropped it again for everyone to know. I'm mates with Joe. Joe and I. Oh, Joe, you silly sausage. See how I take the piss out of Joe? Because Joe's my friend, aren't you, Joe? See how Joe and I take the piss? Oh, kind of thing like that. It's just like, woman, will you get a grip on your fucking self? So when she goes earlier, like, she's like, oh, J.K. Rowling sent me a postcard earlier, or whatever. And I actually put underneath, oh my God, we get it, you've met. Like that's amazing. Like, you gotta constantly, flamboyantly. I know all of you have noticed that she hasn't tweeted, but I know that she hasn't tweeted for another reason, because we're mates, actually. And it's just like, you're beyond. But, I just want to say, did anyone else notice that? Because it's cringe as fuck. Second of all, I knew you. I knew it, right? But the other thing I want to say about my main thrust is about Party Women, but just a quick pit stop. That letter thing, Kelly, did you know that was written by two men? Did you know that?
You call them men, but are they?
Of the genus.
I don't want to cast aspersions.
The genus XY, anyway. The genus, yeah, I know they're not very sparkling examples of the breed, I grant you.
One of the guys, Darren. I mean, who is, Darren?
Well, obviously, if you don't know Darren,
God,
if you haven't stood cheek by jowl with Darren in this way,
I'll tell you what, Darren sends me postcards when he goes on holiday. So fuck you.
Darren, he sounds like he's going to be knocking on your door asking for his ball back.
Oh, and old Simon Edgelord.
Oh, Simon, I make disgusting remarks about prison rape about 18-year-olds. That's Simon.
Was that him or was that? Hang on, I think that was someone. I think that was someone else, Lispy. I think that was Clive.
Oh no, it wasn't. That was no. Oh no, sorry, you're absolutely right. Oh Christ. Oh God. Am I going to be?
That's all right, because there's no such man as Simon Edgelord, so it was him you were talking about.
Oh, perfect.
But Simon
I just wanted to say, did everybody know that was written by two men? Can you fucking believe it? These people who are supposed to be at the front line of the bastion of women, raising, speaking for women, platforming women's voices or whatever, and they are signing, something written by two men taking the piss out of a woman. Now, forgive me, okay, but even if a man was attacking, for instance, Julie Bindle there, who I've just made shite of in a very sort of shabby fashion, he's not here to give it back to me, whatever. If a man was taking the piss out of Julie Bindle, I would say, why don't you shut your mouth? And when you've done half as much for anybody, not even for women, as Julie Bindle has, then you can make some shitty remarks.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Okay, if I've got a problem with Julie, I'll talk about it with Julie. If I've got a problem with women, we'll talk about women. We'll talk about it by ourselves. Thanks very much. We don't need your fucking input. Okay, Go and fucking do the ironing or something useful. Go and mow the lawn or something. Go kill an elk. Go to war. Build a house. Do something fucking useful. Pair of you. So that's what I wanted to say. It's written by two men. I couldn't believe it. It's so fucking beneath us all to even respond. But the main thing. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say about Trump. To be honest, again, the Overton window has not been so. It's now like one of those fucking bifolding doors you have on the back of patios. It's so fucking wide and shifted so much. But I wanted to say, if I completely understand why people would vote for him now. In terms of what do the Democrats have? They have men who steal women's luggage in airports.
Yeah.
They have men who shake their breast implants on the lawn of the White House. They have Dylan Mulvaney prancing about like a fucking idiot and clapped gleefully in lockstep by Joe Biden. What are they good for? What do they do? The one thing that they have dangle like a sword of Damocles over women's heads all the time. And American women, I feel for you so much. It's fucking abortion. But I tell you something. Do you know what I realised actually? That the reason that abortion is still up for debate at all in America is because that in 2020, when the Democrats got both the House and the Senate. Now I do feel like I'm speaking Klingon here because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, do I? But I do know that because they got the House and the Senate, do you know what they could have done? They could have ratified abortion, i.e. signed abortion into constitutional law, please correct me, any Americans, if you're hopping mad listening to this in your kitchen in fucking Ohio or somewhere, saying this is a load of shite. But I don't think it is shite. They could have ratified it overnight, Kelly.
Yes,
it could have been done and dusted. Off my desk. Ended.
Obama
done.
closed more access to abortions than any other president.
Absolutely.
Maybe Biden has done it now, but I'll tell you why.
President Biden, have made the decision, and I'm delivering on my campaign promise, but he didn't do it. And the reason that they do it is because every time this fucking carousel creaks round every 4 years, they go, okay, well, we're not going to deliver on anything else. We're not going to do anything else. And in fact, we're going to wheel out some of the most bizarre shit you've ever seen in your life. So men can be women now, and people can wander around in puppy outfits, and they're the ones to be teaching your children. That's okay. A dildo for every 5-year-old in the land. Okay, when they start school, what's the problem? What's the problem?
You're saying that like it's an issue
because of abortion.
You're saying that like it's an issue.
They hand it out. They hang it over women's heads, and I don't know what I would do if I was an American woman. I really feel for you, all of you, and because I don't know what I would do in that situation either. But that was just another piece of my main.
It's still state by state, right?
Sorry.
It's never been a federal law, so it's still been state by state. So I know they could have ratified it.
Yeah, and look, I know that there will be people listening who are passionately anti-abortion. Let's not get into the weeds with this, because thank Christ, at the moment, it might change by next week in this fucking government. At the moment, please God, touch wood, it's not an issue here, so I won't get into the weeds of this. The main thing that I wanted to say, and then I promise I will shut up, is Party of Women. Kelly, they have never got over that, my friend.
I know.
They have never got over it. Do you know why they have never got? Do you know some of the asinine drivel that I've seen? Well, she didn't even win. She didn't even get any seats. And you just realise that you are, what do they call them in America? I'm obviously for the Yanks this evening, but you know what's it called? A Monday night quarterback or something like that, where you are sat squatly in your armchair, trying to start a revolution from your bed, versus someone who is rain or shine in a fucking park, in a fucking town square, outside a GP's office or whatever,
in an ill-fitting jumpsuit. In an ill-fitting jumpsuit, often.
Excuse me, it's a stylish Gucci-esque. I won't hear a word of this ill-fitting nonsense.
Me and Tinky Winky. Anyway.
But listen, what I wanted to say was, what they say is, she didn't even get a thing. And you just realise this is the difference between theory and practice.
Yes.
Because it didn't, I feel like saying, do you genuinely think, do you guys do nothing without actually thinking that it's going to be the most amazing thing? You're going to get clapped from the whole, the entire fucking country. Do you not realise the whole point? It wouldn't matter if you didn't win a single fucking vote, which you did. You pulled it out of the mud, out of nothing, dreamt it up in your house, and people ran and got votes. You pulled it out of nowhere, right? First of all. So the second thing, but the main part of it is, even if none of that happened, did they not realise the sheer genius of being in a system where they can't shut you up? They can't shut you out. You have to be allowed to campaign. You have to be allowed to have the mic, the same as anyone else. The Raising Monster Looney Party, Lord Binface, everyone gets the same amount on the mic. And you get the chance without anyone shutting you up or cutting your mic off or telling you you're a fucking big or whatever like that. You have to be allowed to speak. It is the most genius thing. It is a sanctioned platform. And of course you're not, especially no one else is, but they didn't realise that. And it spoke to me so viscerally of the difference between theory versus practice.
Yeah.
Thinking that you're sitting in your garret room, scribbling with a quill, right? You can write the best shit you like. If no one's reading it, what is the point? Meanwhile, you are flyers everywhere. They have to let you do it. You can't be arrested. You're a legitimate political party. You've paid your dues. You've got your candidates, and you're allowed to campaign. You'll be sat at a desk with 10 other people, and they're all allowed to say whatever the crap they want to stand for, and you are allowed as well. It is just genius, and they missed it all. And they're the people who are saying that we are that this is too grubby and too base and well, I don't know what you tell me how they would describe it. Too gauche, too working class,
crass.
too gauche.
Well, I'm both middle class and I'm classless. I don't have. I'm both a genius. Well, no, they don't call me a genius. I'm both really educated.
No,
but
they do. They call you. They never. They would never give you. They never do they never do you the credit of calling you a genius. It's an evil. It's a bad thing. You're a sneaky, conniving, manipulative, brainwashing.
I'm a grifter.
Do you see that kind of way?
I have no power of persuasion, but yet I am responsible for Trump. So, in many ways,
but also mass brainwashing.
Yes.
You're incredibly off-putting, so very obvious, and yet can get women fully like Pied Piper.
I started the riots in the UK, the recent riots. That was mostly down to me. But because I've been fraternizing with the far right for so long. So I'm a very powerful woman.
Cringe. Right, I'll shut up. I just want to say those things. Cheers.
Well, much love to you, and thank you so much. And we knew it was. We knew that you were going to speak, and we love you very much for it because you say very nice things about me. So you're welcome to go on for as long as you like. Lovely Iris.
So women are speaking, and then it's all well.
Okay, women are speaking.
Hi, I was just another point that the stuff that's happening in Ireland. I don't know if anyone actually knows, but Ireland is actually in tier 2 of the human trafficking watch list. And we actually have children going missing under state care in the past 2 years, I believe. And I'll get the exact numbers if you want, and I can put it up in the net. But I know this year there's been over 20 children have gone missing under two-split care, which is the children's basically the state system that deals with children. And then there's over 300 and something all together gone missing. And actually somebody was telling me that one child was actually found in a brothel. I think she was 14 years old.
Wasn't it? Was it Irish? Was the somebody, a Vietnamese person told me recently that the Vietnamese that died in the back of that lorry, that was Irish trafficking, and it's well known in Vietnam that it's the Irish that are the traffickers of the Vietnamese.
Yeah, I don't know much about that part, but I just know like with the children that are gone missing, and then you have our Minister for Children, Roderick O'Gorman, who is being seen in pictures with Peter Tatchell, and it's just like, oh my God, like what is going on with our politicians in this country? You know, they're all captured by all of these idiots. And then we also have issues with the NGOs in our country, like for example the National Women's Council, or as I call it, the National Truants Council, because they had a man who thinks he's a woman on the board for so many years now. He since stepped down because they have to, every so often they have to elect new people and stuff because whatever their policies are. But like they get 96% of taxpayers' funding, and yet they were campaigning to erase like the word woman and mother out of our constitution. Now they lost drastically, like it was like 76% of 70-something% of the vote. It was the worst it was the first time, the highest no vote in the history of Ireland, you know, and that's why our Taoiseach Leo Varadkar stepped down. And there was loads of people, like I asked people who are like who support his party, and I was just like, well, what do you like? I was just curious, you know, what do you like about Leo Varadkar? Oh, because he's the first gay Taoiseach, which is our Prime Minister. And I was just like, but there's better gay people out there that could be leading the country, you know? I said, just because someone is gay or lesbian or bi or whatever, or even male or female, doesn't make a difference. If you can do the job regardless of what your sex is or what your sexual orientation is, then you're the best person for the job. And it shouldn't be all about, because they're a woman. It's like the whole, like I hear some people talking about the Kamala thing as well. Oh, we're voting for her because she's a woman. And I'm just like, that's not good enough. You know, you have to have someone, the best person for the job. Like, is that person going to be able to lead the country? Is the person going to actually do, you know, going to be the best person for the job? Like, do they have the qualifications and stuff like that? Are they going to be able to debate the opposition very well? Because apparently Kamala has pulled out of debating Trump, which is very funny, actually. I was just like, surely, if you're going to go for president, you should be able to debate with other politicians or other leaders and stuff like that.
Well, she won't answer any questions, I wouldn't imagine. She won't answer any questions. Yeah. I'm aware that I'm going to have to leave this space at 10 o'clock. So I'm going to move on. But lovely to talk to you. And move on to Orwell. Yeah. Thanks, women. Orwell was right. Yes, he was.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, hurrah, because my phone is crap and my internet is crap at the moment.
The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to moan at you and say, I haven't seen you in goodness knows how long.
I know. I've had a lot of personal life shit going on this year so far.
I will just say that I miss you.
Oh, thank you. I'm hoping to make it. Is there one this month?
Yes.
Yes. So is it the following Sunday?
Yes.
Well, I should be at that one in that case.
Well, it would be lovely to see
this
you.
Sunday.
This
Sunday. It'd be lovely to see you too. Oh, this Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't this Sunday. But it's not. Yeah. There's another Sunday in August, isn't there? Oh, God, I'm so crap with dates and days.
Oh, you're worried.
Anyway.
Iris. Anyway, you carry on. No, it's not this Sunday, Iris. It's next Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, if it's next Sunday, I'll be there. If it's this Sunday, I won't.
Well, Iris will be there.
That'll be a bit sad. So I've missed some of the stuff. I've missed some of the stuff about the letter this week because I've been up in Northumberland with little internet and more interesting things to do. But I've seen odds and ends. And I just want to say to people, as women who are standing up for women, and obviously children, because if you protect women, you protect children, you don't owe any party or any ideology fucking anything. You don't owe them fuck all. Just walk away from the lot of them. And when it comes to voting, just vote strategically. You don't need to have allegiance to anything other than women and safeguarding. And just pick who currently might be the best or the least worst. And I was a lefty for a long time. I think actually on reflection, probably just to be in opposition to my dad, who I didn't like very much, who was very right-wing. But when I really started examining lefty stuff in about 2014, 2015, it all kind of felt a bit for me because for some reason I had assumed the left was the party of free speech and kind of atheism, or at least not religion having really any sway outside which church you went to in your own private life. And when I discovered that the left was full on, Islam's a religion of peace, it kind of fucking broke my heart because, not only is Islam, as it is practiced in many parts of the world, including our country, very misogynistic, it's very anti-free speech. And so that's when I left the left. So I'm kind of like a decade out of it. And I went through all the heartbreak and the mourning, and it did make me really sad. And now I just don't give a fuck. And it makes you so much freer to realise that all you've got to do, as Kellie-Jay says, is stand for women. Fuck everything else, quite honestly. And next, the next people of most importance on my list are kind of working class women, because I think in this country and many others, we get absolutely the worst deal. We're exposed to the most risk because we live in the shitty areas where they put the paedophiles and the rapists and the men who've just got
runaway money, less rainy day money.
Yeah, exactly. And, now they're trying to price us out of our cars and get us on public transport. And there's just been a report that travelling on a train alone is 50% riskier for women than it used to be. And fuck knows it used to be bad enough. And I don't suppose buses are any better. And all I can think is, God, they're just increasing our risk all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't got a troon next to you in the bloody hospital or at the doctor's surgery, a troon coming to do your smear test, you've got scary fucking men all over the place. And now they want those of us that need a car and actually can just about scrape enough money to afford a car. She's literally my safe space. I get in my car and the first thing I do, and I advise every woman to do this, before you start the engine, lock your fucking doors. Always reverse park as well, because then you can get away a lot quicker should you need to. But anyway, so they're trying to price us out of all fucking cars. And we're going to be even more at risk. And so all these ones that call us racist, if we're anti-mass immigration, and especially anti-male mass immigration, which I am, I literally think it's a hate crime against women and children to bring millions of fucking men into this country when our men are quite bad enough. We do not need any more. If they call you racist, just ignore them. Just ignore them. Just think like, Kellie-Jay, look, what is best for women? Where ain't having another 10 million fucking men in the country, is there? And it's not us not being able to drive our cars to take our kids to school and having to face extra risk on the bus, on a train, or walking along the street, because even that isn't safe. We're just not safe anywhere, are we? We're not safe in hospital. We're not safe in our own home. We're not safe on a bus. We're not safe on a train. We're not safe walking down the road. We're not safe taking our kids to the shops. We're not safe anywhere. The only fucking place I feel safe is in my goddamn car.
Yeah.
Because unless I'm dumb enough to let a man in it, it's just me and locked doors. So I'm sorry, I was being quite cross. So thank you for letting me rant.
Well, you're very welcome. This is Let Women Speak, after all. I'm just going to say until
Let women rant.
I just look. I don't. I won't want to start saying that we should all have guns, but we can all have cars. And I've got quite a hefty car, so it's also a weapon in many stretches of my imagination. Iris, I've got an apology.
Yes, thank you.
Well. Sorry, Iris. It is this Sunday.
It is, yes.
I just can't believe where's the summer gone?
Yeah.
I mean, what summer?
Yeah.
God knows. But yeah, terrible. So I defer to your greatness and your wisdom on both dates. And who's next?
Bridget.
Bridget, hi, good evening. Bridget, I'm just going to warn you, we're going to finish this space at 10 o'clock. But we would love to hear you speak.
Thanks, Kelly. Can everybody hear me? Because I did have problems. Okay, great. Thank you. First of all, I wanted to say the spirit. It wouldn't be as simple as to get the law for abortion passed in the U.S. as you said. It would have to go through both houses. There would be a lot of debate. There would be a lot of resistance. There would be a lot of conversation. It was never going to be easy. That didn't mean it wasn't doable.
Yeah.
It means that they would have had to really fight, and they would have had to give up something else. And frankly, they gave up on women who think that abortion is extremely important. It was easy for them to give that away to get Obamacare instead, which is really, it's a crap program. It's a terrible program.
I've heard.
So about the letter, I don't know that I really think it's jealousy. I think it's wanting to stay relevant and not recognizing that maybe they weren't ever really all that relevant. You cannot tell me that women living their lives have heard of most of these academic feminists. We didn't have the time to write. Women were being mothers. Some of us were helping set up domestic violence shelters. We were doing things. I was part of the second wave of feminism. We were busy. There was a lot to do. And I didn't really sit down and read books by any of these women or anything that they wrote, and I didn't know them. And I didn't think that it was my responsibility in any way to know them.
Yeah.
So I hear about them, and honestly, it's for me that they needed a way to stay very relevant and involved in something that they're really not relevant or involved in because they didn't know how to stop this train wreck from happening. They really didn't. They had no idea.
When I say jealous, let me just chime in here. When I say jealous, I don't mean they look at me and they wish they were me. It's not that sort of jealousy and envy, but it is the emotion of jealousy of thinking, well, how come she's done that? Why haven't I done that? So it is an envy or jealousy, but it doesn't mean that they want to be me. It's more that they are really pissed off that some upstart came along without decades of activism and came along and managed to kind of put their finger very much on the pulse, and in a way that message could get out in a way that they've never been able to manage.
Yes, I would 100% agree with that. All of that. In fact, I fully agree with that, because they weren't doing anything to make real changes.
No.
It wasn't happening.
No.
And when I read the letter, I have to tell you, and then when you did your great little thing yesterday with your crown and that wonderful thing you did, I had to pick up on the fact that Jenny Hardy somehow made comments about you having gardens. If you see, I have a whole post with a lot of women who are on this space who posted all their gardens, women who are working class women who said, yep, we've all got gardens, and they all posted them. It's a great thread that we put up. It was one of the most fun things, because when you said it to me, she's actually the one that annoys me the most, is her. And that's only because some of the things she said that could have really hurt when you were going to Belfast and doing your Let Women Speak there, which was a fantastic Let Women Speak. She did some things, and she really tried to do a bit of derailment, and I've just never quite forgiven her for that. Mm-hmm. And so when I heard that yesterday, I thought, well, this will be the fun thing to do, is let women show off their gardens, because working class does not mean that women do not ever have other forms of enjoyment in their life. And that's just where I'm at with the letter. And I think it's ridiculous. We are women who should be able to talk about every issue that affects our lives without being told that there are certain special castes of men we're not allowed to talk about. That is nonsense. Of course, we can talk about it. Thank you all so much.
Oh, thank you so much. About the working class, I think what's really interesting, when I was a little girl, being working class, the one thing you wanted to do as a working class person was not be working class. There wasn't, especially where I grew up, people weren't that politically engaged. I remember, so I grew up in the place where Clark's shoes were founded in the 1800s. And I remember it was called Black Wednesday, and it was the day that they closed the last factory because they exported all of loads of their manufacturing to Brazil, Romania, China. And I remember all those men losing their sort of jobs in the factory. It was called Junitor. And then they still had sort of other things there, like their sort of quality control and everything, which eventually is where my dad worked. But it's very interesting, because I didn't know anyone that was politically engaged. I didn't know anybody that was in the left. I think my parents might have been Liberal Democrat voters, but they weren't particularly politically engaged as young people, because they were living hand to mouth, and they didn't come from well-educated families that were interested in politics. So what every single member of my extended family, so my mother's brothers and sisters and my father's brothers and sisters, what they all wanted was nice cars, big TVs. They wanted to own their own homes, which my parents did right from the off. They got married as teenagers, but they all wanted to leave the working class and be middle class, because they were all aspirational, which is kind of what most people want for their kids. Most working class people want their children to grow up and do better than themselves. And so it's really, really odd that you're blamed if you grew up working class. You're kind of somehow you've tainted the whole thing by no longer being working class. Although I don't know when it is. I don't know when the transition is that you leave the working class. But they both accuse me of being middle class whilst loathing me for behaving in many respects working class, which is kind of brash, not polite, not playing the game. So I think class politics is very interesting in the UK, but it's often this double-edged sword. You can't behave like a working class person, but you have to identify as one. It's like you can use working class to dismiss any accusations against you, like I'm working class, I'm salt of the earth, and that delivers a certain something. But for Christ's sake, don't behave like somebody working class, because that might mean that you object to some things that polite society thinks it's all right for you to have to live with. Iris, who's next?
Coach.
Yeah, Les Free. Just a quick one for Les Free. In Robert Kennedy Jr. tomorrow is possibly going to. He's standing down, and we believe. Well, it is believed, should I say, that he's going to endorse Trump. So his votes go to him to keep the Democrats out. So that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I thought Kelly would be happy to hear that. She doesn't already know. And women are speaking. The police aren't interested in children in care if they escape or leave or anything from the age of 14. They say they're old enough to look after themselves, which is horrendous.
It's awful, isn't it? All children that leave care,
Yeah.
I think there's, all the support is just retracted at 18, and the support isn't that great in the first place, but you lose all of it at 18, and you're expected to fend for yourselves, and you have to do that without the security and love of a family.
They're basically given a black bag, a bin bag, to say, on you go, because the foster carers don't get paid unless they're disabled. And a friend of mine, I can give his name, but if you know anyone in care, he's taking local authorities to court because they're not giving them. They're supposed to get £60 a week from the age of 15, put into your bank account. And what we've been doing is getting the money for these kids and then letting them we want to try and teach them how to financially manage so they can save that up for a deposit for renting. That's what we'd like to do, but no one's listening to us on it. We've tried it with CAF on it, but no one's listening.
God, I think the care system is like so many things in this country. It is an absolute scourge on all of us that we allow such absolutely horrendous treatment of children, and I know there's plenty of kids as well still trapped in homes where they're treated abysmally and abused, and I don't know what the answer is, but we can't expect we basically can't expect to throw these children to the wolves and expect them not to act like pack animals in the end, right? Or broken or vulnerable. It's just so hideous. It's a bit like elderly care. Again, going back to my good Vietnamese friend, they have no elderly care homes in most countries. Like, we have elderly care homes. We discard these people just like we discard these children who are born into such terrible circumstances that I guess it's something we're all going to have to start talking about. But by the sounds of it, Coach, that's something that you know about.
I was wrongly accused by social services many years ago, about 10 years ago, of Munchausen. And my daughter's got Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So I went through the family court. Child was never put in care, but it was a horrendous experience for both of us. So I then got involved, and I found other children who had been put in care with the same medical condition. And I then campaigned. I've had 4 children returned from care to their parents. So I just started campaigning for it and did a little bit of work with Zach Goldsmith. And I spoke to him about it. And so it's just my bad experiences where I was terrified of what would have happened to my child if I didn't win the case. But it has affected her psychologically, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
No one believed me, Mum. I wasn't well.
Jesus Christ.
And I had a private diagnosis, but they refused to believe it, even though I had a private diagnosis by an NHS professor.
Well, thank God for you.
But I had to self-teach myself a basic for family law, but I had an excellent solicitor who only worked with families and not with local authorities. Jesus. And then obviously I had an MP on my side. Zach helped me, and when I won the case, they took me back to court to try and get a gagging order. But he wrote to the judge and told the judge that it was a witch hunt, and he would name them all, use parliamentary privilege to name them all. if they got me that gagging order.
I've heard quite a few good things about him. Sort of,
he's amazing.
Yeah,
I met him the night before the cast review. We were door knocking for an hour, and he asked me. That was the time he was singing Maya Forstater's praises, Kathleen Stock, and he said to me, "Can I pick your brains on this because it's been bugging me?" So we had a chat for an hour, and then he said to me, "Do you mind if I disclose what you've said to the minister?" I was telling him about detransitioners. I said, "Look, they're going to be coming in the droves." And he said to me that I can't live with myself knowing that I could have stopped this. And he said he was going to go to cabinet straight after door knocking with myself and Lisa Ting. And the following morning, the cast review was announced. So I've got a very good relationship with him.
And he's very handsome, which is totally a frivolous
He's a lovely
comment.
man. He's a wonderful man.
Wow. Well, it's been an absolute honour to talk to you, and thank you so much for your insight about children and care, and I think it's
thank you,
really
thank you everybody as well.
All right, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I know there's people waiting. It's the first time that we've done this sort of dual thing with the space. I think it's worked really well. And so we will be doing the next. We'll be doing that again, and then I'll be doing a normal TERF talk once a week as well. But I feel that this is maybe an easier way to access. We may be putting on a little bit of a timer so we can make sure we can get through as many people speaking as possible. But I have loved this evening. So thank you all so much for joining. It's been really great. Thank you to Iris, as always. She both is an expert on time, calendars, and the order of speakers. So there's pretty much nothing this woman can't do. She is wonderful. I don't know what I'd do without her. But to all the rest of you, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that spoke. Thank you to everyone tuning in. You'll be pleased to know that on Twitter alone, I think it's about 2,700 people tuning in, not to the space, but to the my other live stream. And then there's viewers on YouTube. And so a lot more people listening to your stories, I hope. Okay, I'm going to close the space. Thank you all so much. Look, if you can speak in this space and you can tell the truth and you can not be distracted by emojis, then I promise we will win. If you can stand for election, because by God, if you're not a candidate for Party of Women by now and not certainly got it in your sights, then what on earth are you doing? If you do that, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Because I